Kia ora e te whānau. Another little video that I'm quite excited about. These gorgeous little charms, and we're going to learn how to make those. I just decided I did do a marbling paper. We won't talk about that. Way too much mess for very few results, and it drove me nuts. And I thought, what else could I do that's marbling? So this one is a double-sided one. This one is a double-sided one, and this one is just the one side, and this one is just a one-sided one. So I'll get the equipment out and the things we're going to need, and that'll be what I'll show you next. Okay, so we are going to need obviously some UV resin. This is just off Temu. We're going to need some pigment powders, cheap as chips, also off Temu. I think I got about, there's another box of this, and I think they're only $7. Look at them all. Mica powders. We're going to need some resin tape, and I know you're probably not going to have all this stuff, but I love my resin, so I always have these little bits and pieces lying around for lots of different projects. You're going to need a couple of kebab skewers to mix the paint around. You're going to have to excuse, if you've seen on the news, maybe it didn't hit your news, but we've had a lot of wind here the last couple of days, so my sash windows aren't coping. You need an LED light. These are already mixed, these guys, but I just bought a whole lot of these little black empty nail polish containers, again just off Temu. The tape again was off Temu, just so that you can mix some of the mica with the resin to make a colour that you can then keep. You don't have to mix it up on, say, a piece of plastic or something, and then you've got to throw that away or throw away the excess if you don't use it. I've just got it in little nail polish bottles. You can either use an LED lamp or the sun. The sun works just fine. It's just that the LED lamp is times 5 plus what the sun is, so it just does it a lot quicker. And then you can do it at night or when it's rainy. Now you're going to need, if you want to do the charm ones that have the antique, I have a ridiculous collection of this type of thing. I don't know what my fascination is with it, but we're going to do some where we fill those that have the back, solid back. But then I've also got lots of little ones that are hollow and open, and that is what the tape, we'll need the tape for. And then I've got some of that matte board that I've told you in previous videos that I use all the time. I've had a couple of people say they went and managed to get some from Photo Gallery, and I'll say it again, just pop down to your local photo gallery, give them a call, ask them if they have any matte board scraps, and you might be lucky enough for them to give you a whole pile like they did me. That one, however, I don't have to spray paint the back because it's already this lovely gold. So if I only had the white on white, I'd probably do the same thing that I did in the last charms video, which I'll link up, put a card up there, and spray paint the back if you want to see what that looks like. And then in that video description you'll also find the video link to how I did that when I made some metal labels. Basically I just use a mix of rust spray paint and the hammered Rust-Oleum metal spray paint, and that's all I do. So there's everything that we're going to need. I can't promise you, I mean obviously we're going to need a pair of scissors. There might be a few other little bits and pieces that I've forgotten that I'm going to have to show you, but for now that should set us going. Okay, so mixing the mica into the resin, there probably is some sort of method that you're meant to use, but you know me, by eye is perfectly fine. So when you purchase these little see, I got a pack of 10, I think. These little nail polish containers, make sure that they come with one of these teeny tiny little funnels. I found it better to open that up, pop that in there, pop a decent amount of mica powder in, because it's a black bottle. I could not even guesstimate how much I put in there, but I'm assuming at least that much. But then I actually took that out because I didn't want resin all over it, and I just gently squeezed it into the top using the actual pour nozzle that's already on there, until I thought it was filling up. Again, it's black, can't see a thing, but it does have to be black, because if it's clear, and sorry if I'm teaching you how to suck eggs and you've used resin before, because it's UV resin, if it's a clear bottle, the sun gets into it, the UV gets into it, it hardens your resin and you just throw it away. So although the black is a real pain, it does need to be like that. Then I just kind of put that on, try to mix the brush as much as I can, give it a really good shake, open it up again, do a bit of a mix, turn it, shake, and then I just do a little bit of a test to see if I've got enough colour from that mica, and if I haven't, then I will put a little bit more in, but I think, rule of thumb, I would say I had at least a full one of those, of the mica powder, and then the rest resin. Okay, and the colours that I used, I just put a little bit onto the front of the bottle as well, so that I knew what they were. So I did the goldy brown, I did the one of the greens, the pearl, because I don't know if you'll get the same ones, and a nice antique gold. I can't link, unfortunately, the Temu links because they expire so quickly the moment they've sold out, and the Temu products vary from country to country. All I know is if you put into the search mica powder for resin, UV resin, black nail polish, empty nail polish bottles, you should get the things that you need to come up in your searches. And as for these, what I'll try and do is in the description I will put search terms to help you at least find the things that you're looking for. I just put jewellery pendants antique, and the antique usually brings up this colour, but if you want silver or gold, just put pendants jewellery making. And then these guys, they've got the word hollow with them, but I'll check my search and I'll put a blanket search term in there for you. Okay, I'll get set up again and we'll get started. Okay, so step 1, and you could cut this, measure it properly, make sure that it's exactly, you know me, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it by eye. So you just cut the size of the charm you want and then just neaten it up as best you can, to make sure that it's reasonably square. And then I just curve the corners slightly. And at this point, once you've got that, I would do one of 3 options, because if any resin gets on the side there, it's going to be too late to do this option. I would either ink the edge just with some distress ink, or if you've got a gold paint pen, you could just put some gold paint pen, an enamel paint pen on the edge, or if you've got, I think I've got Winsor & Newton gold paint or gold ink, and you could put that on the side as well. So for the purpose of this one, I will just ink it and I won't waste your time showing you how to do that. Okay, so I inked using ground espresso, so just means that white on the edge there has gone away, because you will see that. So out of my 2 examples, that one, which was the double-sided one, I put the gold on. This one, I did the inking. And honestly, I don't think it makes that much of a difference which one you choose, but it does definitely make a difference if those sides are white. So next step, all we need to do, and I will say I don't have any, so I won't be, but you should use gloves. So this is a case of do as I say and not as I do. But all I do is I've given them a bit of a shake, and we just want some good drops of resin. Now for this, because we're going to put clear resin over the top of this as well, we really do only want enough that will cover the surface when we roll it round. So this is the gold. Some of the dots I put in the other colours, some I just put around. It's a real messy little hodgepodge, so you don't need to be too fussy. Then I've got the more clear, it's kind of a pearly white, because they'll start to run together a little bit anyway as you're doing this. And then you can just save these colours and use them in any mixture you like. I mean, those examples that I showed you, they were all using these exact same colours, and yet they all came out totally different. Sorry about the street noises, traffic noises. I wish I lived rurally sometimes. Now this one, obviously I might not have much left in it, so I'll see if I can get one good drop. I'll just pick that up as carefully as I can, hopefully not get any on me. And as you can see, that's just a hodgepodge mess at the moment. And all you're going to do is you're going to slowly, without it dripping off the side, start by trying to get it to have covered the entire surface. And then you use your kebab stick just to put some pretty little swirls in there and cover any bits that haven't covered. So you can see how I'm allowing it to run together all on its own first. There we go, so that's the first step, and then all you do is you get a kebab stick and you put some swirls in it. And we have marbling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and put this on 60 seconds 3 to 4 times with my LED lamp, or until this resin is no longer sticky to touch. Okay, so I will do that and I will pop back. Okay, so here's where personal preference comes in. I usually, once I have finished hardening it and it's not sticky anymore to the touch, you might be happy just with that. But I think when you add an extra layer of resin on the top, the depth that you get out of that marbling and the difference in the pigment shine is totally different. So then what we need to do, again with gloves on, like my imaginary gloves, is, and sometimes I will put it on something. Now if you get any bubbles in your resin, all you have to do is run a lighter over it. So you just run a lighter over it and it will pop any of those bubbles. Now don't put too much resin on it so that it runs over the sides. I've done that plenty of times, but just enough to give it that depth. So at the moment all I'm doing is just gently pushing that resin so that it reaches all of the edges. And honestly, you'll notice once you've set it that you've missed a little bit. I do it all the time, but I don't think it matters. Okay, so now I'm just going to pop that again under my lamp until it is no longer sticky to the touch. This is a little bit thicker, so it might take an extra couple of times, but I'll come back once I've done that. Just while we're waiting for that, I need to share something with you because I feel so silly. I was watching one of my favourite creators the other day, Michelle from the Creative Cove, and I've got heaps of you guys that I watch religiously. And it dawned on me that even though I'd pushed the little bell, or I thought I had, I hadn't, and nothing was appearing on my feed. So I double checked this. And you know when you push the little bell, which I'll put up there, or you push the drop, the drop down for the bell, see how it's got the black bell at the top? I thought, great, it's set to all. It's not. Look at the little tick that's the next one down next to personalized. And personalized means YouTube will decide if and when it shows you the videos to your favorite channel. So yeah, you've actually got to make the tick the top one. So you've got to actually push on that little black bell. Please, if someone else has done that, can you please tell me, because I feel really stupid. I think it's actually quite hard to see that. But if I'm the only one, I'm going to feel very special. Okay, so if we take that out from under there, can you see the difference? This one's got a lot less of the clear pearl in it than the other one I showed you. But I think it just makes such a difference to have that extra layer of resin on there. And you can sand resin, but if you sand resin, please make sure that you're wearing a mask so that you don't breathe in any of the particles, because you'll see that on that left hand side, if that bothers you, it probably wouldn't for me, you can sand that off. To get the hole into this, I actually use a little drill that I've got. I wouldn't recommend that you try and use a punch, because it lifts the resin off the surface and then the resin goes milky. So ask if you've got a drill and you're competent in using it, just drill a little hole in there, or just ask someone a friend of yours or a family member that might be able to do that for you. Now, the only difference between that one and the double-sided one is that when I show you this next step with how to do the open pendants, I have just stuck that upside down onto the tape that we're going to use, and I have redone that exact same process a second time. I have then drilled the hole after I've done both sides. So if you've done one-sided ones, you could drill that hole now. If you want to do the two-sided ones like that, we'll do the resin on the other side first and then drill the hole. And these are just little necklace bails, again, Temu, and necklace bails, antique, and they come up. And then I could do a multitude of things. I could use a bulb pin, or I could put a lobster clasp, or I could even put a little jump ring and attach it to a ribbon crimp on the edge of something as well. So there's so many little options that you can do there. Okay, so our next one that we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to do one. Now I will use this. You could just tape it to your surface, but you know how I roll it around to get it to for the coverage? You wouldn't be able to do that if it's stuck to your surface. You would pretty much have to just use the kebab stick. So I don't even know if this is particularly special tape, but I assume it is. So I stick it sticky side up when you get it off your fingers. That's always the first challenge. And then you could use another tape, but I just use a little bit of this. chop that in half, put one end there, preferably straight if you can, and this will just stop it from bouncing around all over the show, and another at the end because you want it laying as flat as possible. And best if you're on a level surface, because I'm on my craft bed, as you know, not a level surface. I might actually use, I tried to find more of these ones, but I couldn't find them. These are my favourites. Just pop that on there, give it a good push down, and what that's going to do is it's just going to stop all of the resin seeping out underneath the thing that you're trying to resin into. And when I say I've got a little bit of an obsession with these things, I'm not kidding. I have all sorts of different shapes and sizes. I mean, that one could be quite cute. Let's do one of those. Yeah, and I've even got these little ones which don't have a hole or anything, but they look really cute if you fill them like this and then just glue them into the middle of a cluster. So let's do that one and that one, and we're just going to do the same thing again. So I will fast forward this one for you and only speak where I need to. Okay, now this part is quite important. So this guy is all ready to go. So we can gently lift this up, pull that guy off there, and they're pretty. So pretty. I love these. This guy, however, what we want to do is just flip him over and do just a couple of 60 seconds through that tape. The reason being is sometimes it hasn't gone right through to set the other side, and you want to set the other side before you pull the tape off, or you'll end up not only with some of the resin on the tape, this is a trick that I've learned through trial and error, by the way, but you'll also mess up the marbling a little bit, and the marbling isn't necessarily perfect on that underneath side. You'll notice that you've got one side that's absolutely stunning and one side that's okay. So for example, this one here, this was the side that I did right side up, and this is the side that I did on the tape. Still pretty, but you can see that that side has turned out so much better. Okay, now that I've set that side as well, we should be able to pull it off there. It's always going to be a little bit trickier because it's the resin is stuck to the paper, but you can see you've still got a pretty side. And this one's actually with that white, it's actually slightly see-through as well, which I really like with these ones. And now all we have to do is pop that guy right side down and put a little bit of clear resin on them. So I will just fast forward this for you again. Okay, so here's this guy all finished. And you can reuse that tape quite a few times. Aren't they beautiful? Now, your very own specialised little charms that you've made yourself, not that you've purchased or bought. And I'll be making a few more videos like this to do with resin and different things that you can do with the resin, so that it won't just be a one-off purchase. I've also got another resin charms video which is on the playlist at the end of this video as well. Just to finish up, here's our little plate of lovelies, including the ones that we've made today. And when I was explaining this idea, so these are ribbon crimps, I'm pretty sure that's what they're called. And what I intend on doing, which I will do we'll be doing on one of my pages in my Come Make a Ring Bound with me if you want to see how this turns out. This is just an envelope I made ages ago. So what I would do is I would put this on here, I'd put a jump ring here, put that one on the jump ring, and then it would be a little dangle on the bottom of the pocket envelope flap. And obviously this would be decorated more as well. So there's lots of little things you could do. That guy could just go simply with a bulb pin through an eyelet. If you've made a tab on the side of a page, lots of little things that you can do with charms, and they're so great to have just sitting in your stash, especially if they are the more neutral colours, which is why I did that one, because oops, I have far more greeny charms for my Come Make a Ring Bound for me than I probably need. So I would probably now make a few neutral ones that they can just sit in my stash and would fit into any journal. But then all I would need to do, and all you would need to do, is if you're making a pink journal, you might grab out a pink mica powder and mix up one more and add it with the golds and the clear whites. So these are the ones I used, but we've got bronze there. I did use, that was the flash white that I used. This is the green I used, which was the moss green. But look at all the, you've got copper, that was the brown I used, coffee brown. So if we actually hold those up, so that one sits about there. So I've probably used about just under half of what they gave me into that mix. But I've got another one of these as well. These are just the colours. I separated to them to the point that I knew what colours I would use, and then a whole lot of brighter ones came with it as well, like yellows and bright greens, and you know me, that's not me. So I really hope you enjoyed that little tutorial, and that it's taken a little bit of the mystery out of resin. And like I say, it's an investment. It's another part of your junk journaling, you know, to just make that journal your own, making your own charms. And like I said, I will do a couple more videos as well, so that you really get to make the use out of that charm, out of that resin that you buy, sorry. So if you are interested, I will pop the playlist on the end of the video that all of these videos will be on, and the future ones coming up as well. Thank you so much for joining me. I really love having you guys here with me. I love that you appreciate what I do. Thank you so much. And until next time, mā te wā.